Town Council makes headway on approvals for the fiscal 2016 operating budget. Details on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, June 5th, 2015. I'm Sarah Colvin. Manager Tom Lynch and Director of Finance Mark Milne presented the proposed $177 million fiscal 2016 operating budget to Town Council this Thursday night. Each year, the budget is reviewed by the Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee. CFAC Vice Chair Bob Ziolik praised the town's work on the budget.
One of the things that we have done from time to time, we've actually gone back and took a look at the 10-year forecasts where he projected what it would be many years hence to try to see how accurate his measurements and predictions of future revenue growth would be. And with one exception, we find them very much on target. The one exception was a number of the excise taxes, the sort of the other taxes that were overestimated, and we think primarily due to the fact that the recession that we went through was much worse than I think anyone could have predicted. However, in recent years, it's much more accurate. So, if anything, it may be ultra-conservative. I think if push came to shove, there may be a little bit more revenue than what is projected in the budget. But that's a good thing, because it allows for the administration and the council, if you find a spending need that wasn't anticipated, be able to find some money to be able to meet that need.
Following CFAC's review, Town Manager Tom Lynch presented the $177 million budget that closely follows priorities set out by Town Council.
Priorities include funding for quality life issues. So we have the senior services outreach position that we have increased. We've used proceeds from the solar array that we have gotten out there, and we've increased that person to full-time so we can deal more with isolated seniors and the problems that we know that they are encountering in getting various services throughout our community. There's funding for attracting a quality seasonal workforce, dealing both with the new mandates on minimum wage increases and the need to have our recreational facilities, whether they're at Calmus or Craigville Beach or Sandy Neck fully staffed. There's an increase in that arena. We've enhanced our athletic field maintenance abilities. We're enhancing our community impact unit by adding a new patrol officer. We're enhancing parking and licensing enforcement by having a police officer in the Barnstable Police Department dedicated specifically to those efforts and needs. We've invested again in the arts program. There's $10,000 to support all the programs that we put together in all of the villages, and we want to see additional promotion and support for various local village activities as well. As you know, we've done our investment in the infrastructure through our capital improvement plan. We're promoting economic development with the e-permitting, and that's moving forward. And we've got our housing needs assessment that's completed, and we'll be moving in the following year, this year, into a housing production program.
Barnstable Municipal Airport Manager Bud Briel presented first, highlighting the airport's large economic impact.
This slide, in this regard, this slide shows a quick overview of the airport and some of our economic impact numbers, including the fact that there are 2,135 jobs associated with the airport, a payroll of $85.3 million, and a regional direct and multiplier economic impact of $208 million a year from the
Council
airport.
unanimously approved the airport's $7.9 million operating budget request. Up next, a $61.4 million request from the schools. Outgoing Superintendent Dr. Mary Chakowski reviewed priorities for the coming fiscal year.
At this time, I'd like to review the school department's FY16 goals and objectives. The first goal is to ensure that the budget provides for the achievement of all students while maintaining fiscal responsibility. This includes, in this first priority, the negotiation and ratification of collective bargaining agreements, and all bargaining unit contracts are set to expire on August 31st, 2015. The BTA voted yesterday to ratify the contract, and the school committee will be taking that up at the June 15th school committee meeting. Also, the priority to meet existing fixed costs, contractual obligations, transportation, as well as utilities. The second priority is to ensure that our facilities are adequate to meet the needs of our students. With the opening of the new Barnstable Early Learning Center, in this budget you will see the preschool program additional staffing of a preschool teacher, a nurse, a part-time custodian, a special education coordinator, and furniture and fixtures and equipment for the new preschool. It also includes the removal of all district portable classrooms and the construction of permanent instructional spaces for both Hyannis West and Barnstable West Barnstable. This budget will also include the study and update of the district's long-term facilities plan. The last priority this evening is to promote the academic achievement of all of our students by challenging each student to perform to his or her maximum ability level.
Council gave the nod to the school's request. Next up, Chief of Police Paul McDonald. He praised the work of the Community Impact Unit and the challenges they face dealing with the homeless population on Main Street, Hyannis. His fiscal 16 budget request includes funding for an additional CIU officer.
The CI unit, as I spoke earlier, is a unit that works solely on Main Street, Hyannis, solely with the homeless population. Started last year, and they are completely overwhelmed. We first put the unit together, we had no idea the amount of work involved and the time involved, and just dealing with one individual. You know, their primary job is a police officer / social work. There are no other social workers out there working Main Street. There are no outreach workers from anybody that I've ever seen out there. The police officers now have to pick up that role out there. And when they're dealing with these individuals, it's not just a half hour or an hour turnaround time. Sometimes they spend half the morning dealing with one individual, take them to a doctor's appointment if they have to, hook them up with the proper social service agencies, making the phone calls. It's extremely time consuming, and they are getting overwhelmed. This request is for an additional officer, and that officer will be assigned to the Community Impact
Council
Unit.
unanimously approved the Police Department's $13.1 million budget request. The growth management budget reflects a 5.2% increase with additional $10,000 for arts funding. Director of Growth Management Joanne Miller-Buntich talked about placemaking efforts.
We also spend some time being thoughtful about what's called placemaking. Placemaking is that idea of really making a community feel as if it belongs where it is. It inhabits the place where it is. We have so many cultural, historic, and arts assets that we want to make sure that people are aware of them as a whole. The Tennessee Legacy Trail is a really good example of that as a cultural attraction. We have many more, obviously, but we're also really focusing on public art, and we're trying to look at it as a collection. And the new one we're getting this year is a gift to the town of Barnstable from the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce through a grant through the Mass Cultural Council, and that will be installed on the Pearl Street Arts Campus coming up in a few weeks. You'll hear more about that.
Council approved the $904,000 growth management budget request. Director of Regulatory Services Richard Scally laid out the groundwork for funding for his divisions.
I promise I won't make you seasick this year like I did last year. Everything is going to be very level and stable. So, and we've already tested it out. So. This is our building, as you can see right here, 200 Main. We have here present with us our Building Commissioner, Tom Perry, Conservation Director, Rob Gatewood, as you know, has one more week to go, and so we have a new Conservation Director, Darcy Colley, who's here, sitting behind me. We have another new face this year, which is our Consumer Affairs Supervisor, Elizabeth Hartsgrove, and our Public Health Director, Tom McKeon.
And again, Council approved the $2.6 million budget. Also Thursday night, Council gave the nod to the Town Council budget, Town Manager budget, and Administrative Services budget. Community Preservation Fund administrative costs and debt services were also approved. You can view the entire Town Council meeting online at town.barnstable.ma.us. Council will tackle budgets for community services and public works when it meets next on June 18th. Meanwhile, don't forget to tune in to our daily hour-long morning news program, Barnstable This Morning. We're live on the air at 7 a.m. each weekday morning. Join us Monday for our weekly chat with Town Manager Tom Lynch, a visit to Osterville Library to hear about the One If by Land, Two If by Sea Revolutionary War Lecture Series. And we'll also check in with Cape Cod Community College Communications Director Michael Gross. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Coleman.